we did part 1 of how Zionists are trying to import their fascist ideology in the United States. And they've already been successful in this in a lot of ways. But now they are making up shit about anti-Semitism. Essentially, people standing for Palestinian rights. They are calling violent anti-Semitic terrorist supporters. And now they're using this to float the idea of robbing them of the First Amendment. It's like even the oppressed have obligations. Not every act of resistance is justified.
What?
This is from the Atlantic. What did I tell you guys? And this is why it's so important to study our enemy. This is why it's important for us to just not, I can't watch Corbin. I can't pay attention to what the news media is saying. No, we got to know what the fuck our enemy is saying. That's my position. I've changed on this because I used to be one of those people like, no, fuck that. I can't. No, we got to know what they're saying. I have been watching them, especially since October 7th. And this has always been their agenda. Their agenda is to take armed resistance off the table. They want to take the only recourse we have to people who have no morality, no conscience. You have the United States and the West who engage in violence more than anyone else. Violence is their number one go-to on any sort of problem. They tear gassed their own people, killed their own people with the police state. But God forbid anyone use armed resistance or any violence to fight against that. The whole idea of give me liberty or give me death has been erased in our culture. Well, white people believe in it but only in their community. And that's glaringly obvious. What happened to give me liberty or give me death? Based on what coming from the right wing, and I'm going to show you guys MSNBC, which the right wing agree with, there's no point of the Second Amendment. Like, I made the Marxist argument on why I support the right to bear arms. We should never concede our arms against this capitalist state. But the right wing, they don't truly believe in it. Because as I keep asking this question, if the Palestinians, after all the humiliation, all the death and suffering they've been put through by the Israeli state, CJ, if they don't have the right to armed resistance, who the fuck does? They're saying no one does. We built our empire. We got our money and our riches based on blood and gold. But now the violence stops here. Now we're going to lock this shit in. Now that we benefit from, let's lock it in. So this article got dragged. And I just simply say United States is the most propagandized country in the world. I'm getting 1,000 likes per hour on this tweet.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Like I tweeted before the show. It's already at 5,000.
Oh, I can't see it. I can't see the number. Tell me, I can't see it that small.
Yeah, I'm at 5,000 likes, and I tweeted this out like literally just shortly before the show. So I'm getting 1,000 likes per hour on this tweet because and people are dragging Atlanta for this. I'll tweet this out, and they're getting dragged so badly for this article that they edited the headline. Can you guys see my screenshot?
Wow, the decolonization narrative is dangerous and false.
Look at the narrative, look at the headline, and I don't know if I had anything to do with that. I'm not arrogant enough to think I have the power to change the headline in the Atlantic. But when I found this article, this was the headline and sub-headline. My tweet got thousands of likes for an hour. And
it was your article. It was your tweet. It was your tweet. Now the heat that they got, did you tag them or something? Or you like did they get? How would were they tagged in any way, or were people tagging them? They probably were being tagged in the thread.
Let me check the Atlantic. Actually, let me check because I saw the article and let me see if there was other reaction. Let me see Atlantic. Let's see. I'm actually kind of curious because that's hilarious because I tweeted this out and then I just saw the headline change. Here's the Twitter tab. And let's read a few of these takes. The Atlantic is nothing but Zionist propaganda. First, they published a piece against decolonization, and now it's telling colonized and oppressed people, especially the Palestinians, to know their place, to follow the rules established by their oppressors, and to appeal to their morality. I'm glad I look at this tab because these people saying it better than me. That's exactly what they're saying here.
What?
They're essentially telling colonized people, as I mentioned before, to shut up and die in peace. to appeal to the morality. And we know that, just like Kwame Ture said, you can't appeal to morality to people who have no conscience. They have no conscience. And so who else was commenting on this story? I'm interested. Let's see. Actually, Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, volunteered to join the IDF. I think that may be what he's trying to say here. During the first Intifada, and was a prison guard at a facility. Oh, Jesus Christ! Where torture was a standard practice. I did not know that. Wow. So the editor-in-chief in The Atlantic was a prison guard at a facility where they tortured Palestinians. If I'm hearing that correctly.
Wow.
All right, that's new. That's fucking wild. So yeah, I don't see that many people. That's spelled that right. Atlantic. I feel like I thought more people were tweeting about this. I thought I saw more people. But anyway, not that important. This is the mindset of the room. Let's read the current headline, because I actually didn't read it. I know it's that missed segment. I'm like, damn, they just changed the title, didn't they? So let's read the new headline and subheadline that I did not read because they edited it before we went live. They're like, nigga, we can drag, help edit. The decolonization narrative is dangerous and false. Oh, Jesus Christ. It does not accurately describe either the foundation of Israel or the tragedy of Palestinians. I'm sure you got that opinion and you was talking to me Palestinians, I'm sure. You mean the foundation of Israel, the state that was founded on genocide? How can Israel kill kids, bomb hospitals, kill journalists, and create their state based on genocide, and then they tell other people to be better than them? That's why I never condemn.
So crazy.
Yeah, feel free to interrupt. I can't see you, so just interrupt me if you want to.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
But the idea that, and that's why I don't police Palestinians. If Palestinians are against Hamas, which there are Palestinians that are against Hamas, that's for them to clean that up. You know what I mean? But what Palestinians and what Hamas do, they're following the rules of engagement set by their colonizer. So their colonizer bomb kids, bomb civilians, take hostages way more than Hamas, and then people look at Hamas like, oh my God, you guys doing the same thing that Israel's doing? What? You know who I'm going to condemn? I'm going to condemn the group my taxpayer money is going to. If my taxpayer money was going to only the Palestinian resistance, then maybe we shouldn't be killing those people over there. You know what I mean? But our taxpayer money is going to Israel. We are complicit as taxpayers with the genocide of Palestinian people, so we have zero right to tell them how to engage. And for a second time, I think that's enough for this article. I don't want to read this. This is a long article. I may do a breakdown later. Jesus Christ.
But if you could just read a couple of sentences or paragraphs, what is the point to just basically tell us where is they're saying the narrative of what is wrong? What part of the narrative is what I want to know is wrong? Are they saying
I read it, I'm skimming it so I see what's important, because literally look at it now, and I skimmed it earlier. There's a lot of this that fluff. Like this is fluff. That's fluff. October 7th. Oh my God, everyone dead. Oh, okay. So let's start here because this part is interesting. The Hamas attack resembled a medieval Mongol raid. No, the Mongol was an offensive empire that killed millions. The Palestinians are on the defensive and have the right to resist their occupier. Who was occupying the Mongols? One sentence in, I could debunk this motherfucker.
Nick, you know what? You know why you can debunk it? You're a history nerd, Nick.
Yeah,
you've spoken about the Mongols and examples of things many times since we've been in streams, but you know what they bank on? Somebody not knowing that at all. If they don't know that, Nick, they just gonna read right over that. They're gonna be like, what? But you and thank God for our audience, you're able to go wait, and give the comparison. But go ahead.
And they said, oh, this is so fucking crazy, man. I can't even make it a sentence in this. The Hamas attack resembled a medieval Mongol raid. We explained why that was ridiculous. But look at this. For slaughter and human trophies. Except it was recorded in real time and published to social media. You want to know what else who sees stuff on social media? We see dead Palestinian children. And we have for years. What he is describing, and every time people describe October 7th, they talk about Israel and what they did to the Palestinians.
Right.
Every single time. That's why Hamas did October 7th because Palestinians go through October 7th all the damn time. That's standard procedure. Israel killed Palestinians. They were, oh my God, there's Israeli hostages that Palestinians got. There are thousands and thousands of Palestinian prisoners of war, people captured, including thousands of children that they got prisoners in Israel. I got to dig up the tweet for the receipts. I don't expect you guys to believe me. I always like to show you guys receipts, but I tweeted about this not too long ago. The amount of children that Israel has hostage and always have hostage. So I'm not spending my time condemning Hamas because Israel did it first. Everything they accuse Hamas of doing on October 7th, Israel did first and at multiple degrees. Once again, we only 1 minute sentence in. I'll just read a little bit more. Western academics, students, artists, and activists have denied, excused, or even celebrated the murders by a terrorist sect that proclaims an anti-Jewish genocide. And I'm glad. This is actually a good transition to our main segment because that is what they're complaining, Zionists are complaining that professors are teaching the history of Israel. They were saying that we are colonizers. How dare they tell the truth about it? You know, they're teaching students in college history, CJ. It's terrifying. Do you guys know they're teaching students in college the history of colonization? That's what they're upset about.
You know where we have to be in the collapse of the empire, Nick, for them to even have the audacity to start with a title that says even the oppressed have obligations. You know that you know how many people they have to run the title by before it's published. You get what I'm saying? So 2 or 3 people was like, that's a good title right there. Let's go with it. That shows you where we are as an empire. But go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, well said. So this is where we left off last night, and I want to show you guys this again because you left around this time, and this is where I'm gonna start because I just got started with this, and this is the new angle, and you can even see it in the last article that we read. And every single corporate, I've been watching these people like a hawk. Every corporate news outlet is running with the story of anti-Semitism on college campuses. So as soon as I noticed this trend, and you guys know we got like all our media companies are controlled by a few billionaires, right? You know what I mean? There are only a few ideologies that are allowed. So when I saw this coordinated push, I mean, Fox News is now weaponizing identity politics to censor people and crack down on First Amendment rights because of anti-Semitism on college campuses. So this stuff doesn't happen out for no reason. There's a reason why they put this out, and this is another coordinated crackdown of the First Amendment and the freedom of speech, and that's exactly what it is. And the first segment is them like winking and nodding at the idea. But you guys can see the title of the next segment we're gonna cover. They just Morning Joe, like nigga, fuck that subtlety shit. Your title says students say what's happening at schools isn't free speech. Why the fuck y'all being subtle about this? You got propaganda to do, guys. We'll get to that next. So I commented on a little bit last night, but I won't play this part again because it set up the next video pretty well.
As soon as the blame was put on Jews, as soon as violence towards Jews began.
But those were stories you thought just your grandparents would be telling.
I'm from New York. We have one of the largest Jew populations in the world. I never thought that anti-Semitism would reach New York. And I was naive, I think. I thought these were stories. I never assumed that they would be my reality. And that is extremely devastating. And it's heartbreaking to hear my peers who are advocates always for social justice issues.
They want us to care about the feelings of this white privileged Karen over the death of Palestinian children. Right. Palestinian children are dying. Meanwhile, they're like, oh my God, Palestinian flags are making me sad. But I'll let it continue because there's a certain point I want to get to.
Advocating on behalf of minorities when Jews are called into question, when it's the Jews that are being persecuted, that are being threatened for their lives, there's silence, and there's selective advocacy here. Selective advocacy. There's blindness, selective blindness, and it's heartbreaking.
Amanda, are you starting to feel like diversity and inclusion, which is such an important idea for so many of us, is suddenly not including you?
So they're now criticizing the idea of diversity. Why isn't diversity including genocidal, Zionist, privileged white women like you? Why can't we get lefty brownie points? Why are we considered the victim? You guys see how the colonizer, the genocidal colonizer, always view themselves as the victim? They're the victims now. I explained this last night in the intro of this statement. They explained one of these students went to Israel to study for a year. My question is, can Palestinians do that? Can Palestinians use birthright? Interesting, they can, huh? So one of these people are literally a colonizer, and they are Jewish Americans living in New York. They live in New York, CJ, but they're here to tell you how deeply connected they are to Israel. One student is so deeply connected to Israel, she was there for a year and she dipped. She's like, nigga, I'm trying to go back to America, nigga. I want some fucking McDonald's. I can't stay here. Anyway, let me continue because I'm not gonna play too much more of this video before I get to the next one. Just a certain point, because she's the most unhinged out of all of them. Like, she don't get how to do the propaganda dance, but she just outright says it. So let's listen to this part.
100%. I mean, over the past few weeks at Cornell, there's been a surge like never before in anti-Semitic acts, in professors saying that they're exhilarated by Hamas's actions. Then even following the arrest and arraignment of a student who posted direct threats to slit the throats of Jews on campus, to throw them off cliffs, to bomb their living facilities and the only kosher dining hall on campus. Even after all of that, professors are still spreading untruths and propaganda about Israel in their classes, which directly affects our Jewish community. Professors have been showing videos about why Israel is committing genocide in their courses without substantiating it, with really any evidence at all.
Without substantiating it in the videos that they're showing, like, that's not substantiating it. But go ahead, Nick.
So now you guys see what this is really about? You guys see what the illusion of caring about Jewish people and anti-Semitism is really about? It's about those goddamn professors teaching history and telling people about the crimes of Israel. Students telling other students about the crimes of Israel. You explaining the crimes of my ancestors is making me feel unsafe. I feel unsafe because you're talking about how I benefit because I went to Israel. I benefit from violent colonialism, so you guys are making me uncomfortable. That is what they are saying here. Go ahead.
In these colonial cellular sort of cope sessions that we
that's what they are.
They never. Hey, that's a good name.
That's a funny term, colonizer cope.
They never. I always leave it feeling like, man, I felt it's not enough detail. They never go into detail about what this anti-Semitism is. They'll give an example of some outlandish, crazy person shit, like what she did. Like he said, this kill all Jews. One crazy person, and I'm using crazy not in a clinical term, but if you're saying that, you're crazy because you're racist. You shouldn't be saying kill our Jews. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But you'll take that and then to say, and then go and then pivot to talking about the protests so that you can act like it's all the same. What are you talking about? Like, it's not the same. And that's what they're doing. That example that outlandish example they gave, then they go, this is all this anti-Semitism going on college campuses. And then they're just showing footage of protests.
Yeah.
All about your feeling. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
No, you just nailed it. That's exactly what it is. That's why what they're doing is disgusting and evil, because they're taking random acts of people who are going through psychosis, crazy or evil people, right? Isolated incidents that may or may not have happened, by the way. But let's say may or may not happen. So they take those crazy isolated incidents and try to tie it to peace protesters who are calling for a ceasefire. That's morally reprehensible. Now, there's just one more part of this clip I want to play, because the reason I'm doing this way, CJ, because I want this to be showed in one segment. I don't really care about last night, but this segment.
Yeah, no, I completely understand.
So there's just a little bit more I'm going to put on this clip, and now I'm going to get to the Morning Joe part. So, and you guys are going to see, this is not about protecting Jewish people, because they're not standing up for anti-Zionist Jews. It's not about that. It's about silencing and tone policing Palestinian resistance. That is what it's all about.
Propaganda about Israel in their classes, which directly affects our Jewish community. Professors have been showing videos about why Israel is committing genocide in their courses without substantiating it, with really any evidence at all, and telling
You're not
students
repeating our
that
propaganda.
who say that they sympathize with the Israeli citizens and their horrific loss of life and the atrocities committed against them. Professors are telling their students that they are the real oppressor and that Israel deserved what came for them in classes today and yesterday, even after this student who, sent.
I don't know if that happened, but wasn't a lie. Wasn't a lie. You
But
guys,
what is that? That makes you feel bad? This is all
Yeah.
this is all the anti-Semitism stuff is like feelings. You make me feel bad. There's dead Palestinians. You want us to go mark your prioritize your feelings over dead babies? It's bizarre. It's
like Jacqueline
bizarre.
said. I see you guys in the comments. I see them every once in a while. He said this cynical manipulation of the audience by mainstream media, disgusting. I told you guys there's 2 ways to sell genocide. We cut a clip about that. 2 ways to sell genocide. Fox News are unhinged. We see Jesse Waters. You guys see how the liberal version is to manipulate emotions, to lie. Like they have. To me, I view both disgusting. You know what I mean? I don't believe in lesser two evilism. They both disgusting and they serve the same end goal. This is the liberal version of selling the genocide and silencing oppressed people. So there's just a little bit more of this I want to play, and then we can continue.
These death threats to my entire community. This is still happening today.
And why do you think that university leaders aren't doing anything? Right? We could say
the question, and this is the question I asked last night. When I want to pose again, what will you have college universities do? The suggestion from the Zionists expose their fascist ideology because their suggestion is that the college campus should shut down Palestinian peace groups like Ron DeSantis did, cracking down on the free speech and the right to assembly illegally. And watch the Zionists like, nigga, the college campus not doing no, shut the shit down. You gotta see how Zionists are trying to import their fascist ideology. What do you want the college campuses to do? Anyway, let's continue.
Peace or politics in the Middle East are complicated, but anti-Semitism is not complicated.
Just 2 days ago, President Rosenberry of Barnard created a task force combating anti-Semitism, something that I'm grateful for, something that's unfortunately very necessary right now. And right now, there are protesters protesting that task force, protesting an email that she wrote denouncing Hamas's actions.
The reason why they're protesting that is because that anti-Semitism letter is tying pro-Palestinian protests and the call for a ceasefire with anti-Semitism, the same thing they are doing. What they are doing is harmful because they are tying free Palestine and resistance to anti-Semitism, even though Palestinians are Semitic people, even though Jewish people support free Palestine. But I'll let continue.
She's not doing enough to combat Islamophobia. She's not doing enough for everyone else. When all she did was write an email saying that anti-Semitism is not okay, and people think that's bad. Like, that's black and white to me. Anti-Semitism is not okay. And that's it. But students on my own campus, they're politicizing this. They're making this into something that it's not. I feel scared and threatened on my college campus, and people are turning it into a Israel-Palestine issue.
If you feel scared and threatened because you want slavery to continue, and now you feel scared and threatened, am I supposed to feel sympathy for you because you feel scared and threatened because you want to support a Zionist genocidal regime? Like, I don't get this. To me, it seems like these segments can only affect people that don't know about the story. Like, this is not going to affect the students. This is not going to affect the protesters, because the reason they're protesting is because they know the truth. They took in the time to study the issue. So you're not going to propaganda. You know what the kryptonite to propaganda is? An informed person, Nick. Because an informed person will be looking at propaganda. Is this a skit? Is this SNL? What the fuck is this? That's how a person who is informed watches propaganda. When a person who's not informed will be thinking that it's the truth. But go ahead.
And to your point, CJ, this is not working on young people because young people are smart and
right.
a lot of these easily to scare boomers who watch the show. You know what I mean? So that's why they are forced to authoritarianism and violent authoritarianism. I reported I did a hotspot video showing how Biden is going to work with local law enforcement to crack down on pro-Palestinian protests. You have these Zionists that are forcing college campuses to ban pro-Palestinian groups. So when Zionists, when capitalists, when imperialists, when Westerners lose the argument, they resort to violent authoritarianism, as Marx has predicted, right? But anyway, we're almost done here, but let's continue. We're almost done.
Is what's at the root of this. That is what started this. But it's Jew hatred. It's plain old Jew hatred. And
that's the part I was waiting for. That's the only part. That's why we're in this part. You guys see how she tied her students who are protesting. And you mentioned like they're trying to make it about politics. They're trying to make it about all this stuff. But it's actually just Jew hatred. So this segment is not about protecting Jews. It's about labeling everyone who stands up against the Israeli state as anti-Semites. So this is the last unhinged segment on this because Morning Joe, they saw that last segment and they're like, man, look at that weak ass shit. You guys are weak. There's a reason why we the king around here. So I saw this one and my jaws dropped to the floor. So, and this is the follow-up. So Morning Joe saw this and this is the next day, the morning after. So you guys see, this is the messaging coming from MSNBC, CNN. And the reason why I'm doing this segment, because I've seen this in print media as well. If you guys are interested, Google college campus right now. Every corporate media is doing a story on this. Every right-wing media influencer is talking about this. And there's a reason why. Now let's watch this clip and we break it down.
But before you start, let me set it up. So Morning Joe called Stephanie Rules segment last night. And he's like, let me call Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie, I saw that bitch shit you had on last night here. If you want to see some real colonizer shit, bitch, watch me tomorrow morning. And then this is the segment. So that's a good preface. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
The House passed a resolution condemning the support for Hamas and Hezbollah that we're seeing on many college campuses. The resolution urges university leaders to denounce all forms of anti-Semitism. Utah Republican Representative Burgess Owens introduced the measure, saying, quote, hateful acts of anti-Semitism are spreading like wildfire across American college campuses. Some examples at Cornell campus police.
Look, I'm glad they did this for me. I'm glad. Hold on, let me go back. You guys see the compilation of the coordinated media? They all got the memo. I don't know how they do it, but they got a memo and they are all printing the same shit. So my eyes perked up, CJ, when I see this. I'm like, all right, what's going on here?
So you're telling me, Nick, so what I was just asking for, we're about to get the receipts on what this anti-Semitism is. Now, understand, just like they did to sell the Patriot Act, they're going to use actual examples of bad shit, but that's never the application. Yeah. But go ahead, Nick.
Yep. And they try to tie the bad shit that may or may not happen to Palestinian peace protesters, which is not connected at all. And what's funny to me, I've been making this point throughout the last few weeks, the same right-wingers who be like, oh my God, you liberal snowflakes, always engage in identity politics, because liberals write articles about how black students and brown students don't feel safe on college campuses, right? You know how many times Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, and all these right-wingers did video diss tracks mocking the idea, oh, you guys, look at you snowflakes on college campus, you black, oh my God, you guys are snowflakes. You guys are not experiencing any racism. It's 2023. You guys think racism, oh my God. You guys are brainwashing white kids to think their country is racist. Those same people who mock the idea that people go through racism, black, brown people, they're now saying, oh my God, anti-Semitism. They're now the biggest social justice warriors in politics. These same right-wingers who used to mock social justice warriors. Isn't that interesting?
That's funny.
Yeah, interesting. But anyway, let's continue. I'm glad they put this compilation, and that's why I did this segment. That's why I did it. I think it's funny, but it's also there's a reason. There's a psyop going on right now, and a coordinated attack on our free speech waged by both parties. Like everyone, and I'm gonna show you guys an example. Everyone who pretended to be a right-wing free speech warrior abandoned that shit the second October 7th happened, CJ. And they all for like, yeah, we need to crack down on college campuses.
Yep. I've seen it. I've seen it.
Shit right now. And RBN, we were one of the few people that's like eyeing on this. I saw Glenn, he did a great tweet thread about on this, well, calling out the hypocrisy. But we like, bro, what the fuck is happening, bro? But anyway, let's continue this, and there's gonna be a lot to say.
Cornell campus police had to protect the university's Center for Jewish Living after online threats to Jewish students surfaced near Tulane.
I don't believe that, fam. We know that NAFO exists. We know that CIA is embedded in social media. When they say that Jewish students got online threats, do you think Palestinian peace activists, do you think Palestinians are DMing Jewish students like, nigga, we gotta get you, bro? No, nigga, that's absolutely not happening. I don't give a fuck what they say. Absolutely not happening. That's 100% a psyop, and they are using, and they always do this. Oh my God, these people getting online threats. They use it to crack down on liberties. Get the fuck out of here. But let's continue.
A Jewish student was hit with a flagpole after he tried to grab an Israeli flag from a
Can you pause
protesters.
here? I'm so happy they inserted this part.
Yeah,
because I've been wanting to address this specific part, and I keep forgetting
Go ahead.
to address it because they're using this as anti-Semitism, Nick. Really? Yeah. Because the pro-Palestinian person was minding their own fucking business with their own property. They can do whatever the fuck they want to do with their own property. Then some Zionist clown who didn't like the protest tried to snatch somebody's property, sir. And then they got their ass handed to them. That's not anti-Semitism. That's self-defense of his property. Constitutional conservative Fox News.
Like, they also... CJ, I'm glad he called that out because they also use a video of this black woman and this Jewish woman getting in a scuffle. But Israeli propagandists would call it. I may search for it, but I don't got it included in my segment. I may show you guys later, just so you guys I don't just make you guys believe me. But there is a video of a Jewish woman and a black woman getting into a scuffle. But Israeli propagandists cut the part of the video where the Jewish woman started it with the black woman because she was, and then they started right at a point where the Jewish woman got her ass beat because of course, right? She got her ass beat. Then they cut the video to start right when she fought. She's like, look, Jewish people being attacked by black people and pro-Palestinian protesters, and they got called out. And so the fact that they are using these fraudulent examples shows me and my intelligence that they don't have shit, CJ.
They don't.
That's why I said that if you guys have this harassment, you guys will be showing it on this segment. I have seen articles, CJ. I've seen these segments. They never show you. If you guys think, if there were Palestinian peace groups that sent unhinged death threats, you think that shit wouldn't be plastered, uncensored on the Washington Post every goddamn day? They don't air it because they don't have it. And I'll promise you guys that. But they're not scientific take. I will admit, it's not scientific. But I'm just telling you guys, just based on my life experience, based on my intelligence, based on what I know what the media does, if they had the shit they claim they did, they will show you it. The same way they have all it. Go ahead. Actually, I'll just continue. You want to
No. Yeah, let me just show you because you didn't have the receipt. I have the receipt for you. This is Sabby.
Oh, good.
This is the video that you're referring to, and Sabby makes the point. Now, look who tweeted it. Jewish of New York. The Jewish of New York are experiencing an all-time high of 400% increase in Jewish hate throughout the city. This violent anti-Semitic hate crime was carried out by a Jew hater that was tearing off kidnapped signs. And Sabby points out the white woman went after the black woman first, but notice how this Zionist account blames the black woman. This is the next level Karen energy, but to the point, and I can bring this down now and put your video back up, but to the point that you were making, if the only way you can make your point is about lying about our point, that is so telling. That's the only way you can make your point, is about lying about what we're saying and what we're doing. That's so telling. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, so it gets fucking crazy from here, man. I just let you guys know, I made 3 minutes to this video before I tapped out. I didn't want those segments. It's that crazy. Morning Joe really ranted, bro. So let's watch it here.
Well,
around 3 minutes in, I'm going blind. So
he tried to grab an Israeli flag from a pro-Palestinian protesters. And at Columbia, an Israeli student was physically attacked with a stick on campus. Now, 3 Jewish students are speaking out in a New York Times op-ed, writing that what's happening on college campuses is not free speech.
Morning Joe and the master propagandists here, like, you guys are tiptoeing around this damn free speech issue. They're like, stop pussing around, nigga. This is not free speech. I don't know what you guys are doing at Stephanie Ruth's show with all these emotions and crying and shit. So they're gonna bring on, and this is nod to the last segment as well. I made this point last night. They bring on these 3 random people. You guys think they're random? Especially when you watch the whole segment, it's clear they are Mossad or got Mossad training. They are establishment shields that were picked out to spread this message. They are trained to spread this message, but they present it as, oh, we just got ordinary college students to tell their story.
Yeah, right.
Do you guys really fucking believe these are random college students? So, for example, let me show the intro again, where they explain how they found these college students who had an op-ed in the New York Times. How the fuck do you get an op-ed in the New York Times? Who the hell do you know? CJ, can you just get a random op-ed in the New York Times? Anyone, can you leave a comment? Let me know. If you guys feel upset and uncomfortable about how you are on campus, can you hit the New York Times and get an article printed about your feelings? If you believe that these are ordinary students, you're a rube of the highest order. Who the fuck just gets a New York Times article? Now let me play this again, and now play the part of the quote-unquote ordinary college students that just so happen to have a New York Times article that are victims of anti-Semitic hate.
New York Times op-ed, writing that what's happening on college campuses is not free speech. Joining us now are the op-ed's authors, Gabriel Diamond, a senior at Yale, Talia Dror, a junior at Cornell, and Jillian Letterman.
Well, can you imagine what their answers have done? Anyway, so let me continue.
Yale, Talia Dror, a junior at Cornell, and Jillian Letterman, a senior at Brown. Thank you all very much for being on this morning. Thank you for writing the piece. Gabriel, I'll just go in order here as how I introduced you. What do you think should be done, though, to deal with the anti-Semitism that seems to be roiling across college campuses?
So one thing, even authoritarian liberals like Mika, they see these new up-and-coming authoritarian Zionists, and they're up at it like, all right, let me be clear. What do you want? Are you actually about to say it? You know what I mean? So yeah, so this is the golden question. What should be done? What are you proposing here?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us on. I think there's a lot that can be done. And what we're seeing now is a lot of colleges and the universities are being reactive to what's going on campus. They're issuing statements. They're trying to essentially cover for what has been a massive failure because they've allowed terrorist sympathies to brew on campus. They've allowed for radical voices on campus to create a hostile culture. These students are condoning terrorism. These students are justifying violence. And in many cases, they're even inciting violence. And in some, as you saw in the video with the Columbia student, students are getting hurt. Students are getting assaulted.
You guys see how last segment with Stephanie Ruth, they was, and this is why I had to mention it a few times, they was implying that the Palestinian resistance are terrorist sympathizers. Meanwhile, Morning Joe like, what the fuck? Nigga, just say it. They all the Palestinian protesters are terrorist sympathizers. They just say it on Morning Joe. They don't give a fuck.
At Tulane, a Colombian Israeli student was assaulted. At Cornell, students are scared to go to class. And we're seeing that at Harvard as well, a student who was harassed by a number of students with keffiyehs. They're holding up these scarves in front of them, preventing the student from even getting to class. So there's a lot that can be done, and the universities need to step up. They need to deal with professors appropriately, disciplining them, and in some cases, even dismissing them.
What does that mean, CJ? You guys hear what he just said? Universities need to deal with these professors. Remember what the Zionist in last video said? She's upset because the professors are telling people the history of Israel. So these new young students are making an argument that professors telling people the accurate history of Israel need to be expelled. Do you guys see how crazy this is?
And so,
what's this guy? Does it have his name? His name is Gabriel Diamond. I'm gonna look him up because I'm very curious on who he's connected to. I may not find it from a Google search. Might take a little research.
Yeah, we need someone who look into this.
These aren't just random people. That suit he has on, Nick, that's $1,000-$2,000 suit.
God damn.
On. That's not no random suit that guy has on. That incomplete a thing with the tie and the shirt. I'm not just saying the jacket. That's an expensive suit. So that's telling me he's for money. But continue to, I'm curious to see what else he says.
Yeah,
and what
we need to know who these people's parents are. But you got, and they want to weaponize telling the truth about apartheid. But let's continue.
Gabriel Diamond. Gabriel Diamond better not be related to Jamie Dimon of Chase Bank. He better not be. I just know that part, Nick.
We need our research.
Go ahead.
I love our community. Our community always sends me tips. All you people are better doing research than I am. Look into these motherfuckers. I promise. I don't even know who their parents are. I promise you. There are some colonizing. They got blood money. I promise you. But anyway, let's continue.
Some cases, even dismissing them. And so we also need to cut funding to student groups that are supporting and glorifying terrorism, because these behaviors are unacceptable.
He said we need to cut funding and support for student groups that are supporting quote unquote terrorism. Whatever that means. So, CJ, they believe the act of armed resistance itself is terrorism. The United States and the West labeled Nelson Mandela as a terrorist. So what they're saying is, if you believe in the armed resistance of the Palestinians, as the UN label outline international law dictates that they actually have, you are a terrorist sympathizer. You shouldn't be part of any school-funded activities. This is Zionists weaponizing their capital and influence to silence people. Fam, and let's continue.
Do you believe that the average student who's on campus marching Free Palestine and from the river to the sea and even understand what the issues are? Or is it just this?
God, you mean Donnie Deutsch is on here? This guy is insane. That's all you had to tell me, that Donnie was on this shit. That's all you had to tell me.
I'm done at this point. I tell you, at this point, I'm flying free, fam. I quit somewhere around this point when that guy was talking about how we need to disband clubs and people who support Palestine. So at this point, I'm going free because I actually like, oh shit, Donnie Deutsch is here. So let's see what he said. Let's watch this part. But you guys see why this is just a malicious psyop, because they're pretending to care about Jewish people, but it's not about that. As a guy in the $1,000 suit laid out, it's not about protecting Jewish people. It's about silencing Palestinian resistance and their support.
I don't think I can necessarily speak to other people's beliefs. What I can tell you is that you're chanting for an Intifada revolution. You are chanting for innocent civilians to be killed.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You should know what you're saying before you get up and tell someone that their family and friends should be slaughtered in cold blood.
These people are definitely colonizers, fam. CJ, look how bad she is. Bro, she got some guilty generational conscience on her mind right now, bro. Anyway, sorry, I love her confused. This is new to me. This is new to me.
Nick, let me just tell you. The guy, Gabriel Diamond, and I'm going to bring up the receipt after in a couple of seconds, is a Yale. He works for the Senate.
Oh, of course.
And he's from the Hudson Institute.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Are you serious?
Didn't tell us any of that. Oh, it's just a student. He doesn't work for the Senate. He's not part of the Hudson Institute.
Are you serious?
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Why? So that's journalistic malpractice. We already know that, but how? In every segment presenting these people are just ordinary college students. The New York Times, like, we just give op-ed to ordinary college students who just want to share their story. Oh, they're full of shit, man.
Gabriel Diamond, Yale, 2024. This is his own LinkedIn. So this is him putting his own information out. Look at his experience. Summer intern, United States Senate.
Oh my God, dude. They have no shame.
How did he get that Senate internship? How did he get this summer internship? Through the Hudson Institute.
He's a research intern at the Hudson. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hudson Institute, Political Studies. Like, this guy has Washington, D.C. grooming all over him, and they're presenting him to their audience as a random student who's just fighting against anti-Semitism when he's a plant. He's literally a plant.
That's fucking gold, man. Now you guys see why I said the United States is the most propagandized country in the world, and they know their ancestors and their parents and their cousins and uncles did some shit. That's why when we call for justice, people who are colonizers view cause of justice as their oppression. That's why she's upset here. This this Zionist privilege meltdown here is glorious to me. I am greatly enjoying this.
That you're chanting for an Intifada revolution. You are chanting for innocent civilians to be killed. You should know what you're saying before you get up and tell someone that their family and friends should be slaughtered in cold blood. If you're calling to globalize an Intifada, you're calling for Jews on your own campus, for Jews across the United States, for Jews across the world to be slaughtered in cold blood.
How is calling for a free Palestine impacting your Jewish ass in America? You guys see how colonizers in the ruling class call the liberation and freedom as a threat to their life? You're living in America. You're not even close enough to Israel to live there. They're not even remotely. If you take even the most extremist, radical position, that is what no one's calling for. Hamas don't call for that. She's claiming that Palestinian peace protesters are calling for the death of all Jews. I didn't get to this far. That's cuckoo for Cocoa Puff shit here, fam. I actually want to hear that again. I did not get this far.
Shocking you.
Crazy. That's crazy what you just said here.
Calling for Jews on your own campus, for Jews across the United States, for Jews across the world to be slaughtered in cold blood. If you're able to get up and say that, you should know what you're saying before you're doing so.
Jillian, many of us have different views, but I think all of us have to condemn what happened on October 7th, and many of us are saying we don't want to see children killed in the Gaza. What I want to ask you is, what has been absent, I read the column, the op-ed that you three wrote. I've not seen the surrounding communities of those college campuses condemn the violence, because we can debate the issues, but the fact you have students being physically attacked or threatened with violence.
This Negro.
Yeah. He's a Negro of the highest order.
I don't want to play that much more of this, but he backed up their point, essentially. He's saying the Palestinian peace activists are not doing enough to condemn this violence. Bullshit. I was at the Kansas City protest, and the organizers there was stressing peace. They said, and luckily there wasn't any, because I don't know how well I will follow this direction. They told people who was going to the event, they say even if there's Zionist protesters and there are counter protesters, do not engage. And I have seen a ton of people who condemned, who I actually don't agree with, who fall for this narrative, and they're like, yeah, I actually support free Palestine, but I condemn this. So this segment is lying, but for the sake of time, I know Al Sharpton is unbearable, but I'm gonna skip it just for the sake of time. Going a little bit long, because I didn't see anything from their point. I'm going blind at this point, so I'm gonna just move on to the next point. And so even more disgusting about this is they are only presenting one side, right? So CJ, you acknowledged earlier, JB acknowledged earlier, we acknowledged together that we condemn that people who are not being intellectual in their resistance. For example, if you're just attacking random Jewish people because of the state of Israel, you're doing exactly what the Zionists want us to do, right? So no one fucks with these people despite what they said because they're just dumb. Like there's a smart way to resist, you know what I mean? At any point during the two segments that I show you, did they condemn the violence by Zionists? So they were pretending that there's this wave of anti-Jewish hatred and attacks without showing any receipts. You want to know who have receipts and who have shown receipts? We do. We have receipts. And I mentioned before, they say stuff like, oh, there's been a wave of online threats and attacks. Source, believe me, bro. I don't insult the intelligence of our audience. I think I earned your guys' trust because everything that I explain is, and even if you guys believe me, I show you guys receipts on everything. It takes forever to put these segments together just because I don't want you guys just to believe me. That's what they do on all these anti-Semitic campus segments. Oh my God, there's a wave of anti-Semitic hate. Where is it? Believe me. But here's examples of Zionists attacking pro-Palestinian protesters that was never mentioned in any of these corporate news segments. Here is an unhinged Zionist threatening to, after slapping a 15-year-old boy, she threatens to pee on the 15-year-old boy. And I am not
This girl right here, this lady right here is hitting people. What is she doing? She's pro-Israel.
Why you are not deleting this?
I'm showing it.
Why you are not?
Don't touch me. 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 Don't dare. Get ready for jail. Don't touch her. Don't you?
No, she just slapped a 15-year-old kid. Where's the MSNBC? Where's the invite? Where's his in New York Times article?
Don't you? Don't you? I got that on video. All right, I got that on video. I got that on video. Touch me. 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 So touch me. Touch me. Touch me.
People need to know you are killing babies.
Don't touch me.
Get away from me.
Get away from me.
Your hand,
Get away from me.
Good.
All right, bye.
I'm gonna pee on you if I go.
Okay, cool.
Wow.
So after calling for the death of a 15-year-old boy, she did say she wants to pee on him. Where's that boy? Where's his op-ed at? Where's the New York Times story about this?
I will be more than happy to pee on somebody like you.
And then she doubled down. It wasn't like, damn, I was angry. I should have said that. Then she said she's gonna pee on a kid, and then she went back and she's like, I'm gonna let you know I meant it. Where's the MSNBC segment on this? If there's a principled stand against hatred and violence, CJ. Where's the video and where's the segment on this? Here is a Zionist who headbutted a guy who was trying to raise money for Gaza. You guys notice how we showing you receipts, but the corporate media, trusted MSNBC is not showing you any of this? I see violence come from the Israelis.
Yeah.
He headbutts him there.
Go to Palestine! Fucking kill you! Go to Palestine! Palestine? You want Palestine?
He told him, I will kill you if you keep doing this. Where's the MSNBC segment on this? Of Zionists threatening the lives of people simply raising money for Gaza.
Fight!
Yes, yeah.
Say Palestine one more time! Say Palestine one more time! I will fuck you again!
He said, say Palestine one more time. If you say Palestine one more time, I will fuck you in the ass. That's pretty headline worthy, isn't it, CJ? Can you imagine if there was video of this? I have not seen any, and they did, they will show you. Imagine if there was video of this, of a Palestinian peace protester telling a Zionist that they will fuck them in the ass.
Yeah.
Why is there not a segment on this?
Say Palestine one more time! I will fuck you again! Say Palestine one more time!
Yes.
Say Palestine one more time! Say it! Say it! Shut the fuck up and get lost!
Yes, yeah,
Get lost!
I said it many times before. I said this on Twitter. As a martial artist who trained Muay Thai for 12 years, Jiu-Jitsu for 6 years, I fantasize about situations like these, CJ. I wish
I was just about the same thing. I was just about to say that I wish that was the time I was walking by right that time.
I really wish
he would have had his ass deep. I'm just gonna say, yeah, hand it to him, and I would have took those new kicks. And I would have took those new kicks. Fuck,
bro, you guys
get
see
the
how
fuck out of here, man.
You guys see how skinny those legs look, man? Can you imagine a well-placed leg kick on that thigh right there? Bro, I just think about that. Like, what I would do to this motherfucker. Like, I know I'm kind of psychotic, but bro, as someone who's trained for this shit, I trained for years. Since I was 18, I trained Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu for at least 6 years, mat time. I fantasized about these situations, guys. I am waiting for my viral moment for someone to do this shit to me so you guys can see me implant a motherfucker on the canvas. But anyway, let me move on. Let me show you guys the last thing they won't tell you on the media. They're talking about the rise of anti-Semitism, the wave of hate. Every single adult Israeli who is not arrested for protesting their state is a whaling agent into a colonialism. In the West Bank, violence has been escalating with an estimated 152 Palestinians, once again, not in Gaza, in the West Bank, killed by Israeli settlers since the war began. This led to the United States saying, can you guys please stop killing Palestinians, please? So what happening in the corporate media not reporting on is Israelis, since the start of the war on October 7th, have been lynching Palestinians. They've been kidnapping,
in the West Bank. It's important. It's in the West Bank. Yeah.
In the West Bank.
Now, Morning Joe alluded to this morning, and they're trying to be balanced. And it was a point of a point, like a footnote of a point, not at all the point. But you know me, I'm picking up on these little things because they were saying, yeah, we need Netanyahu is not that popular. They really need to get him and get him replaced and doing it. And they also need to, those settlers up there, they need to stop messing with those people over there in the West Bank. They made a reference to it without talking about it. So they know exactly what's going on. Why aren't you reporting that? Why aren't you reporting that as opposite to anti-Semitism that has gone up, Morning Joe? Yeah. But they were just talking about that this morning, Nick, when I saw it. Go ahead.
Yep. So they don't talk about it. They are pretending that they're just rising of anti-Semitism attacks without showing any receipts like I did. I show you guys receipts. They're doing this under the guise of cracking down on free speech. Now, I'll show you one because this segment going a little long, so I'm going to cut a little bit here. But U.S. rights groups urges colleges to protect free speech amid Israel-Gaza war. And there, this one, and I'm actually surprised this came from Vox. Dude, this is actually surprising. Because at first, I thought they was going to make the liberal argument, but they actually don't. They said the Israel-Hamas war reveals how colleges lost their way on free speech. The First Amendment lawyer argues university role in the crisis should be shutting up. So when I first saw the headline, I'll be honest, I thought it was going to argue
go the other way.
The article surprised me. If you read it, they're actually making an argument that all these colleges, they're shutting down pro-Palestinian groups because of pressure they get from Zionists. Even them making statements is not good. They're like, your role is to administrate. Like, you don't get involved in the debates that will go on a college campus. The whole point of a college campus is dialogue and debate. That was the original liberalism ideology came from. College and universities are bastions of free speech and debate. Now the right wing is going against that. Now college and universities are going against this because Zionism has imported their fascist anti-free speech ideology to the West. When I say that, people be like, oh, Nick, you know, it's always been. I'm not saying it hasn't been. Zionist ideology is embedded. Their fascist ideology is embedded in our system. And you want to know who agrees with this? The former free speech warrior, RFK Jr. Here's RFK Jr. Remember the guy who said free speech was so important? RFK Jr. comes out against free speech. So Bill Ackman, I'm not going to read this whole Karen letter here. This letter is all about Here, I'll just read the first part. Below, please see my letter below to the president of Harvard University. So I'm gonna sum up this fucking Karen letter. Can you guys censor more? Can you guys shut down these students that are telling the truth about Israel? So then RFK, seeing his plea of censorship, he posted a few pro-censorship things. He said, bravo, Bill Ackman. He sees the article, he's like, bravo, it's time to hold college administrations responsible for the epidemic of college anti-Semitism by insisting on zero-tolerance policies. This is RFK Jr. saying that we need to crack down on the freedom and exchange of ideas that universities and campuses provide. And what's made this even more unhinged is CJ, college campuses have been complying with the Zionists. But there have been college campuses that are like, yo, we're doing everything we can to condemn them, pull funding. What else do you want us to do? So despite the fact that college campuses actually are engaging on suppressing free speech, RFK believe they're not doing enough. Zionists don't believe they're doing enough because they want a full ban on anything that go against Israel. So RFK Jr. luckily taking his campaign because of this. Because RFK Jr. enthusiastically came out against free speech, you had RFK Jr.'s entire field team who just quit. You have RFK Jr. that took advice from a foreign power, and now he tanked his entire campaign, and you love to fucking see it. So RFK Jr. is locking hands with Morning Joe, CJ. Locking hands with Jesse Waters of Fox News. You guys see how all of them, the Republican, the Democrat, and the quote-unquote, and I cannot emphasize that enough, independent, RFK, they locked hands on the Israel-Palestine issue, and now they advocating for censorship. The people that are saying RFK's position on Israel-Palestine doesn't matter, that take aged like fucking...
Yeah. More and more as time goes by, I'm feeling like RFK Jr. is a plant.
Yeah, for sure. I believe that 100%.
And the move, and I'm talking about a Democratic plant. It was all meant to grab all the non-establishment, and that's what he did. I'm a Democrat, non-establishment. Oh, he's great. Non-establishment. He's getting all the non-establishment people, sucking them up, always knowing that the Democratic Party was not going to open up the primary. He knew that when he started. Okay? Knew that already. So plan already was to go independent, move. So you take the Democratic Party non-establishment voters, you make sure you secure them, you move to the independent part, which is going to affect who? Because he's drawing more from Donald Trump. I've seen 2 surveys that says he's going to draw more from Donald Trump. He's a Democratic plant. And what's something that Democrats are, that even Joe Biden is feeling in the polls? His support for Israel. So what is RFK doing? Doubling down his support for Israel. It just, to me, this is the sign. This is either a person who is intentionally 100%. Trying to run his campaign in the ground, or a person who's intentionally trying to run his campaign in the ground for the Democratic Party. Like, it's no way to take this any other way. And don't let me get on Cornel West, because somebody will say, "Oh, look, he's polling at 8%." What's 8% of zero, Nick? What's 8% of zero? Zero.